Welcome to the 3 Gig Sports Podcast. This is Danny G sitting alongside Jimmer and a special guest today for the oh no, not the first time. We've got Rio back in the house.
You know it, back from the land of the dead.
It's good to see you, beautiful.
Yep.
Man, we missed
Glad
you,
to be
that's
back.
for sure.
I was down with the sickness.
Yeah. You look better today though than the last time we saw you, so
You can just tell me
That's
I'm cute.
awesome.
You don't have to.
Yeah,
mess
right.
around, like,
I already called you beautiful. We're past that, man.
No, beautiful is a generic statement. If you're gonna say cute, that's
Yeah.
that's putting
That's
it
a little
real
more personal, you think?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
So go ahead and say it. Look into his eyes. Jesus Christ! Now at that point, it's like who's gonna take their eyes off of who? I'm like, all right, man.
I gotta go change my pants.
Go take care of that. Well, man, thanks for tuning in. We've got some kind of weekend preview shit going on tonight. There's a game going on right now, too.
Philly just scored.
Philly scored.
Yeah.
Bucks and Eagles. All right. Who scored?
I'm trying to pull it up here.
Let's check it out.
You say second and 20. What the heck? I don't know.
This will be a fun game. Well, either way, right now we've got both teams scoring here in the first quarter, so seems like we're going to get some points on the board, which is good for fantasy. We all need that, especially one
James.
person at this table.
Holder.
But anyhow, before we do that, yeah, it's good to see you, Rio. I'm glad you're back, man. This will be a big deal. Jimmer, what's going on out there?
All right. Obviously, when we were bringing up John Gruden last sit down, there's a lot more stuff that came out during that time. But as of right now, John Gruden has stepped down. Madden 22 will replace him with a generic likeness on EA Sports.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
I saw that. Yeah.
The Buccaneers also took him out of their Ring of Honor.
Yeah.
I also would like to make one other statement while we go ahead and yank him from the Ring of Honor. O.J. Simpson is still in the Ring of Honor for the Bills, so
Yep.
that's the world we live in, by the way.
Yep. That's tough.
That's crazy.
Tua practice Wednesday, could play Sunday. Jacoby Brissett has a hamstring injury.
Yep.
Does it really matter?
No.
No. They're
This weekend it could, right? They play the Jags.
Not against the future Hall of Fame quarterback,
Ooh,
Trevor Lawrence.
here we go.
Red Sox and Astros set to meet in the ALCS.
Yeah, that was a crazy series there to finish off. You know, I think we all like Tampa Bay,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and just couldn't get it done. And so that'll be a fun series. You know, interesting to see how that plays out, and if Boston keeps because I feel like they're overperforming, right?
Yeah.
So heat's
definitely.
on, whatever it is. You know, like the Giants back in the day when they won their Super Bowl, they were, whatever, not very good and got it snuck in the wild card and ended up winning. I mean, this could be that kind of type of deal because I think they're just hot right now.
I don't think anyone.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone. I don't think very many people predicted Red Sox to do that this year and meeting against your Astros. Is that what you like to say?
My Astros, correct. So probably clean sweep.
So you didn't get a jersey. You just bought a trash can, right?
You
Is
know
that
it.
what you did?
Ooh.
Bang on it
Something to
every
hit
time.
it, bang on.
I'm kind of like y'all guys. You root for Iowa State as long as they're not, all the
Playing
Iowa
Iowa.
teams. Yeah. So I'm kind of like that too. I root for the Texas teams unless they're playing against the Rangers.
There you go. Washington football team to retire Sean Taylor's number 21 during Chiefs game on Sunday.
Should have been long done before this.
Absolutely.
But good it's happening. A special talent taken too soon. So good for them.
Yep.
He was a fucking highlight reel.
Oh, man, yeah.
Oh,
just
he would lay the boom.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Oh,
could
he
do
would
it
hit
all.
so hard. Anyway, I mean, interception, cover every
The
field.
perfect safety.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys remember that or not. When he did die, the Washington football team, then known as the Redskins, went out on the very first series with only 10 guys on defense. In like a respect thing for Sean Taylor, but he was. I like Sean Taylor a lot. It sucked that he was taken too soon. Kyrie will not play with the Nets at all until he gets the jab,
And
will not retire.
that is every day it's looking more and more like a Ben Simmons for Kyrie kind of deal should go on. You know, if you think about it and you look,
Okay.
the more you look at it, it's just like this makes more sense for both sides, team wise, and maybe not for the guys, but team wise, it's like, do you want this headache in the locker room? He's not getting the jab. Like I'm pro-choice, you know, like whatever, but you know, here it's a business, right? NBA is a business, and more it looks like front office could go, you know what? Don't want it. Ship him out. Ben Simmons, come on over. You know.
Do you think? Well,
holy shit, that's a take.
That's not a horrible one at all.
Yeah.
I didn't really think about it like that.
I don't know if they could.
Do you think Embiid would be okay with that? I mean, Embiid should be okay with that because I think he's used to only playing 50 games this season too.
And you get a better shooter, so a guy that you can
that
count
actually
on
launch a three.
Right, exactly. You got an actual 3-point threat. So yeah, why wouldn't he be absolutely okay with it?
Does Phil? I haven't looked. Does Philadelphia have a mandate?
I don't know.
I don't know if it's as bad as New York's. New York's was pretty.
Yeah, New York's is pretty tough.
Pretty strict.
Yeah, they've been tough ever since.
That's not a bad thought process because that. Tell me that isn't one of the most uncomfortable places to be in right now. Is the Sixers locker room practice facility right now?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And then he shows up. Doesn't he show up to practice? But he's like, I'm not gonna play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, how uncomfortable would that be?
Yeah.
To be in.
Just all the players too, and then you already know Embiid and them have had their, you know, their conversations or whatever, his comments outside. I'm like, God, just the uncomfortableness of the whole thing. I'm like, God, just make something happen.
No, he's just showing up so they don't take his money. You know,
Right?
I would too. I'd be there.
That shit starts to hurt after a while.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, dude. If Zimbro was giving me, you know, $20 million to show up every day, I wouldn't call in sick ever.
Right.
Ever.
COVID ain't taking me down, bitch. Brett Favre owes almost $1 million in welfare money. He accepted $1.1 million for speaking engagements he never attended for Families First in Mississippi. Favre repaid $500,000 with a commitment to repay the rest over installments.
Yeah, I only saw that pop up in a couple different places. That shit's nuts to me.
It is. Real crazy. Pay it back. You know,
Yeah,
like.
What the hell did you do with all your money? You're a Christian, like a Christian family, I think. If I remember right, his
Who cares
wife
about that? It's like
No.
you made so much money over your career.
That's what That's what I'm getting at. Like his wife is like diehard religious. So there's no what I'm getting at is I don't. Maybe I'm looking at it in a different wrong context, but like, how does they don't look like she doesn't look like an overspender? So where the hell did all your money go? That's what I'm getting.
Cocaine's a hell of a drug.
100%. Yeah, it's a fucked up deal. It's like that money was supposed to go obviously not to a person like him or his business ventures. It was more to help, you know, people that needed it, and he couldn't even pay it back. Like, bro, you've got the money. Like, let's be real. Yeah.
You have to. Otherwise, you would be taking some sort of Sunday night,
Analyst,
Monday night,
yeah.
Fox, ESPN, something going on for analysts.
Yep.
Cubs finalizing a deal to make Cleveland assistant GM their next GM. I don't know if that really means anything. I don't really. Unless you have old boy that was the Cubs and the Red Sox one. I can't remember his name off the top of my head. I don't know if you guys know, but
God damn it, yeah.
and I can't remember his name. But unless you have him, and when it comes to baseball GMs, I don't really give a shit.
Right, GMs. It's not going to come down to.
Or Billy Bean.
I am intrigued by the off season for baseball because there's going to be a lot of free agents hitting the wire, you know, and of course my personal team, the Rangers, are looking to be spenders. So they say. They're normally not, but so lots of potential player, and ultimately that's, you know, who's on the field producing. So yeah, GMs don't really. It's kind of like whatever, you know. Let me hear about a player getting signed or this and that, you know. Then that's bigger news from I know for baseball myself, anyways.
No.
Yeah.
Keeping with the baseball, Cardinals fire manager Mike Schilt after 90-72 season and a trip to the NL wildcard game. Surprised?
Yeah. A little bit. You know, you would think after a little success like that, you know, especially because nobody was counting you in it, right?
Right.
And then to make a run and put together a nice run there towards the end.
One of the hottest streaks
this
year in baseball, yeah.
What was it, 17 or whatever? Yeah, and so to do that and then not give them a chance to return, you know, and see what happens, you know, kind of weird, but, you know, there could be stuff behind closed doors you don't know about, too.
I think, weren't you mentioning something about that?
Yeah, they said the separation is what they called it. was due to philosophical differences. So whatever the hell that means. But
Pretty generic.
yeah.
Uh,
Richard Sherman is out the rest of the game
I
tonight.
saw
too.
that with an
It
injury.
just came across, yeah.
Yeah.
Zion to miss start of season with a foot injury to be reevaluated in 2 weeks with no timetable for return.
I feel like he's just been injured a whole lot ever since entering the league.
Yeah.
You know, there's been this or that. And he's missing this and, you know, but the Pelicans aren't really challenging for anything.
No.
You know, so
Well, there's also the underlining of it looks like he wasn't happy. They let a lot of guys go. It doesn't look like they really brought anyone in to support him.
Mm-hmm.
Nope.
Absolutely.
It also doesn't help that he's like a 270-pound, 6'7" power
That was
forward,
another
too.
thing. It's
yeah, he's
like,
too big for that body.
do
but-
they tell him, you know, hey, you got to slim down, like you can prevent some of
Like,
those injuries.
Well, what is that on Knocked Up? So you're saying I need to lose weight? No. Just tighten up. Just tighten. So I need to lose weight. Just
Yeah.
tighten up.
Even for his own sake, he needs to do that so he can play longer, right?
Yeah,
Like,
that's a lot of bounce and a lot of weight coming back down after he's tearing the rim off.
right.
This one is over something that was watched on Fox Sports. Randy Moss and Jason Whitlock go at it over Twitter. Whitlock called him weak for losing his mind over the Gruden emails. Randy responds on Twitter saying, all in caps, on site, meaning he would do something bad when they cross paths. It was deleted, but not before Whitlock replied. Whitlock said, I hear you. Cry for the white man. Threaten the black man. I hear you, Randy. Predictable.
Yeah. That shit's not. I don't know.
By the way, if
Crazy.
anyone doesn't know who Jason Whitlock is, Jason Whitlock is an African-American man also.
Right.
That definitely crazy story. You know, I'm interested to see how that plays out. But that's gosh, man,
I had
Twitter
to,
fingers going crazy.
I was going to say, I didn't know what the fuck on site means. I had to ask Danny. I
Oh
was
yeah, it's like it's going down as soon as I
Right.
see you.
Well,
homie.
well, you could just say that it's going. Let's get down. Well, I don't care. Like I guess I didn't know what on site meant, but all right, now I know.
No.
I educated myself.
I love Randy Moss, but like, you can't go from crying about something that didn't affect you to being a tough guy and saying on site either. That seems a little backwards to me. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. His tears were kind of crocodile tears. It seemed like too. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
Deep pass to Antonio Brown, 23-yard touchdown,
Mother.
14-7.
But that wasn't Mike Evans.
It was not Mike
Okay.
Evans.
But who was the quarterback?
Tom
Thomas.
MF Brady.
MF Brady.
MF Brady.
Bad motherfucker.
Let's go.
So you weren't in the last one. So before we get to the where we start rounding a little bit, you are our resident UFC guy. Did you see the Masvidal and old boy meeting up, Leon?
Leon Edwards, yeah.
I saw that come out. When is that?
December.
11th
December.
for a 3-round fight.
Yeah, you know they've got history there, so you know they kind of got into a scrap backstage after one of Masvidal's fights. Good fight, I think. You know they're really gonna hate each other, so I think it stays standing and they just hammer
Just
on each
hammer
other.
on each
Yeah.
other. So my type of shit.
Oh yeah. If you're into,
Yeah.
you know, people getting punched in
Hang
the
and
face
bang.
and hanging and banging,
I-
this is gonna be a fight for you.
You know, I'm into that, but I also know a guy that was into just standing there and just getting his face punched.
That's crazy. I know a guy like that too.
Did you?
Hey,
So
man,
who-
I was going to get him when, you know, after they tired their arms out from punching me in the face. And through my
was gonna be-
swollen eyes, that's when I was going to get him.
That was gonna be your round,
I was
baby.
going to get him.
The rope-a-dope.
Yeah, no.
So who you
they never
think-
got tired. It was weird.
Who you thinking in this then?
Oh, man. Edwards just looks so good. But I'm going to go ahead and go with Masvidal. I think when you have that kind of emotion.
Masvidal, you don't think is getting towards the end of his prime here? Or
No.
at the end of his prime?
So I think you take the guy who's been in these backyard brawls, who's been, you know, because he's fighting like, I hate you. And the emotion isn't going to be like I'm just going in there and I'm winging like crazy,
You know,
because I don't like you.
the last time we seen that, or that I seen it from him, Ben Askren,
Mm-hmm.
wasn't it
Yeah.
him? It was a
Yeah, I
flying.
got slept.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
okay.
So I think he's going to be cool under pressure and piece him up. That'd be the betting go for me.
All right. What do you got?
What?
We're up. What's the next one?
What do you
are we
mean,
doing?
what?
Yeah, what? It
You-
always gets.
You
kicked
just
back to
ended it. You just end the news and notes on that. What do you got? Well, let's see.
Hey, this is what's popping here.
What are we doing? All right. So let's talk about let's go college first today.
Okay.
So I've only got a couple upset picks when it comes to the college pieces here. I do have the Longhorns losing this week. Oklahoma State over Texas. Oklahoma State looking really good, and Texas apparently forgot how to play defense last weekend. This is a reverse of my bet last weekend, by the way. I fucking bet Jimmer that they'd beat Oklahoma, and they were looking so good, man.
We're
Up
looking so
21.
good.
I'm like, fuck yeah, and then all of a sudden,
Yeah, just
here we go. So
defense real bad.
Oklahoma State.
All of a sudden, I guess we can touch on that for a half second. All of a sudden, Spencer Rattler loses a fucking mind.
Yeah.
And you said there's unconfirmed reports that he's not even with the team?
Yeah, I've seen that come across a few different places. That looks like he's not even with the team right now. I don't know how legit that is yet, but I wouldn't be surprised. He walked away from the team after they were celebrating after that win.
No team picture.
Nope, nothing, man.
Our boy Luke called this at the fantasy draft. Like, the football game started reeling across, and they kind of panned in on warm-ups, and one of them was, like, Spencer Rattler, and he's like, there's just something about that guy. He's like, he just has, to me, he's like, there's just something about him that he has, like, douche written all over him.
Talk about sliding down draft boards. I mean, they're talking, number one draft pick and this and that.
Mm-hmm.
And just as it's gone, he's made bad decision after bad decision after bad decision, and he's just sliding down draft boards. Plus, then you get into a character problem like this.
Yeah.
Like something not going his way.
That might have hurt him more than the benching.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Because the NFL is keeping a close eye on that.
Yeah.
Like, hold on. Let's see how he rebounds when he gets back in there, the next game. Let's see how he took adversity.
Well,
They got that answer
yeah,
before that.
not a good example. I don't know. It's tough, man. We were talking about this too. Like, he probably needs to go build his stock somewhere before he.
Yeah. We were thinking, like, transfer, not just transfer portal. Like, I don't know if you should be going, unless you're going to a bottom tier, Power 5, Division 1, whatever you want to call it. And maybe you just needed to go the old school D2 route, play a year. You said Coach Prime down in Jacksonville.
Yeah.
Or whatever. Is it Jackson State or whatever he's at?
Yeah.
I don't know if that. I already told you that's not the case because he brought his stud son in as quarterback. So, but it may be one of those things that
Go to like North Dakota State or something and just ball out and
yeah, be a douchebag up there.
Yeah.
And then try to rebuild your brand up. Kind of like what Geno Smith is doing right now. Remember his draft day stuff? Remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's about to start a NFL game this weekend.
Yep.
We'll see.
All right, keep going.
We'll see. All right. The other, so it's not, I don't actually have Kentucky beating Georgia,
No.
but
To cover that 27 or whatever it is.
yeah, I've got them covering that for sure. I think Kentucky is legit this year, which is fucking doesn't make any sense. They're a basketball school, so it's crazy to say that, but I think they're legit this year and they cover, and they're going to prove to be the biggest test for Georgia so far.
Okay, UCLA.
Right.
I jumped off
UCLA,
that wagon,
hold on,
first
and
of all. Let's
hold
talk
on.
about that.
UCLA and Oregon.
Hey, we talk about fantasy injuries.
you've already
Look at
lost.
the injuries Oregon's got.
You-
going on,
you've
all
already-
right?
I did like Oregon. They look good against Ohio State, but
And then, hold on. His bandwagon so far, 6 weeks into the
not looking
college and pro season, has been what? Raiders.
Arkansas still looks good. First of all, the Raiders.
Hold on.
No,
on.
I told you,
You
it
were-
made no sense why, but
hold
I
on.
had to keep picking
You
them.
were on the
There
goddamn.
was
No,
no
we're not
fucking
letting him off
wagon.
the hook.
There was no
We're not letting
wagon.
off
Hold
the
on, I haven't listened to the other episodes that I missed, but
Well, that's
what were you
First
doing?
of all, that's a problem.
that's a
Yeah,
problem
sorry.
right there.
I didn't
Jesus.
because all I would be is misinformed. So
No, that's
Oh,
not the
shit.
truth.
Here we go.
That is
That's
not the
it.
truth.
I don't want
You
lies.
went Raiders. You were dick riding Jameis Winston in the Saints.
Oh my God, he looks so bad.
Oh yeah. You were riding.
First of all, he had 4 touchdowns last week. Can we talk about
Jesus.
that?
Okay, now you're back on.
15
So you're back on.
completions.
Okay, you're back on.
Hold on. Let's talk about that horrible interception, and then he throws a prayer that the dude comes down with for a touchdown.
Yeah.
Listen, Kyler Murray got all the praise in the world for that Hail Mary.
Yeah,
to
but he
DeAndre
looks
Hopkins.
good doing it. He
Oh,
looks
here
good
we
doing
go.
it.
Jameis
Hold
is
on.
throwing to
Oh,
nobody.
Oh, we're still not done with this. You had UCLA. You had Oregon. You had Arkansas, who has lost now 2 in a row. I'm impressed that you haven't jumped off it yet.
Yeah, I still like Arkansas. They also just played fucking Georgia. Let's talk about that.
Not this last
Everybody's
week.
losing to Georgia.
Not this last
No,
week.
didn't they get in a shootout with Ole Miss or
They
something?
did.
Yeah.
That was a high scoring
Yeah, super high scoring.
game. I appreciate you at least still riding your hogs.
Yeah,
You've
I
been
like-
jumping
I like
off of
Arkansas.
everybody else's.
Yeah,
You jumped off Tom Brady for a minute.
I've never.
You
jumped
did,
off Tom
except
Brady.
for his fantasy. Yes, you did.
Yeah,
And
his
now you're back
fantasy
on.
contributions to your team.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's the only reason why
I've
you're still
never
dick
jumped
riding.
off Tom Brady,
Hold
so
on.
that doesn't even
Okay,
make
maybe not,
sense.
but the only reason why you're still dick riding him is because he's on your fantasy team. You
'Cause
can't just throw the towel in.
because he's the goat. So there's that.
All right. We're getting it out of.
All right,
hand
and then
here.
the one lock I wanted to call out for college, really for me, Michigan State over Indiana. They're only 5-point favorites in this game. I think they're going to beat the shit out of Indiana.
It's 4.5.
They're so good.
Yeah, it is 4.5. Okay, pretty good. So my picks here. Give me Washington to beat UCLA at home. 1.5-point underdogs. Conference game. I think they keep it close and beat them. 3 points, 10 points, something like that. Also, I wouldn't be surprised. I don't know if I fully locked this in, but TCU to beat Oklahoma. I don't know where that's at, but that could be sneaky.
That one's at Oklahoma.
That could be a sneaky, tough game. Patterson, I think, is going to turn that defense around, get them more fired up. Offensively, they can do all kinds of things too. So I think that could be a potential upset there.
Even with Rattler not playing.
Even with Rattler not playing.
Okay.
Well, so you look at the Oklahoma quarterback, and he balled out, but a lot of those throws, if you watch, is off his back foot on a prayer, and it's just the Texas defensive back didn't see where the ball was, and their guy come down with it. If you watch some of those throws and touchdowns, off his back foot, leaning back, not how you're supposed to throw the ball, and it's kind of just a prayer.
That and your defense is looking like Zimpro's maintenance. You can't stop a leak on the
Right,
on the
exactly,
run.
yeah. It just and horrible defense. So
Okay.
I'm not completely. The dude's a stud. Like he can definitely. I mean, I saw him take off at the middle for a long touchdown. I'm not completely sold on him if he's 100% the answer for Oklahoma yet.
True freshman, I think. Right?
Yep, true
Yep.
freshman from Washington D.C.
Yep.
So I got a couple picks here that I like this weekend. Michigan State 4.5-point favorites over Indiana. I think they're gonna blow them out. Indiana is not good.
They're missing a lot of boys.
Yeah.
and more specifically, their starting quarterback. When you lose,
Oh, is he out?
Yeah, he's been out.
Okay.
Yep.
So yeah, I think that Michigan State runs away literally because that running back is gonna run all over them.
The Heisman favorite right now,
Yes.
in my opinion. Yeah.
Yes, probably. Yep.
Oh, speaking of which, I'll let you finish on your picks, but who are you thinking for your Heisman so far? We're 6 weeks in.
Yeah, he's pretty good. I still like Bijan, man. If Texas can string together some wins, because I think ultimately that's what it's going to come down. He's going to put up the numbers, right, and produce. But I think you're going to have some wins to back it up.
Yeah.
I think if
or
Texas,
break records.
yeah, or break some crazy
Yep,
records.
yep.
So he's putting up the numbers. He's right up there in the rushing stats and stuff like that. I think Texas is going to have to squeeze out some more wins for him. I think to potentially jump to that number one spot. Anyways, Baylor to cover the 5.5 against BYU. I think they could win that game. Baylor has looked darn good. I don't know if you watched some of their games, but they're blowing people out.
It's at Baylor too, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I can see that.
So I think they run away with this. My next one, Ole Miss, 2.5-point favorites over Tennessee. I think they beat them by more. Did y'all see the over/under? It's like 83.5 for this game. That is insane.
Yeah.
It's fucking nuts, yeah.
But I think that 2.5. I think it's going to be at least 10 points. And so that's my college picks.
All right. I'll go ahead and go with my upset picks in college. I have only one real low hanging fruit in here, more the consideration of it being a quote unquote underdog. I do have Boston plus 2.5. It's at Boston against North Carolina.
I saw that. I was debating on that
at
one.
NC State. I have Arizona State getting a half a point. That's the one at Utah.
Yeah, I saw that.
I took so I'm gonna go ahead and grab on that, and then I have Auburn plus 4.5 at Arkansas. And I think that's gonna be a pretty damn good game. But that being said, Auburn. Well, they both. The reason why this is gonna be a good game, they both need a victory. They're both coming off of 2 straight losses. So, my stone cold locks for college football. This one for me was like I just don't get why the sports book keeps putting a huge number like this for Clemson. Clemson at Syracuse. I'm going to take Syracuse plus 13.5.
Yep.
I mean, Clemson can barely hit 20 points, let alone Syracuse. I'm not saying it's extremely good, but they're not horrendous. And for some reason, they play pretty damn good at home. This is the same university that upset Clemson, if you guys remember, a few years back when Clemson was vying for a national championship run. They went up to Syracuse and got upset up there. So that one right there, I was like, I couldn't believe it's 13.5. So I'm right on board with both of you gentlemen. Michigan State minus 4.5 at Indiana. That's all day. I unless there's something that we don't know, like some injury, like your Heisman front runner right now, that we don't know about. I don't know why that's so low.
Yeah, I saw that. And I was like, what?
Yeah,
it's
it's like no love for Michigan State for whatever reason. They're not sold on it. I don't know. And then I do have Kentucky plus 21.5 at Georgia. I do not think Kentucky is going to beat Georgia. I think Georgia is the clear-cut favorite in college football for the championship. But I don't think Kentucky is getting the love in any way, shape, or form what they have been doing. 21.5 is a little disrespectful for a team that has been kind of rolling. They already upset number 10 Florida. Just came off a big-time win this last weekend, too. So that's my 3 college football stone-cold locks.
All right. Beautiful. So moving on to the NFL, man, there's some pretty good games this week. But we kind of talked about this earlier. I think we're starting to see the clear separation of kind of who the really good teams are versus not, right? So when I look at some of these games here, when we talk about upset picks, to be honest with you, I think the Jags go down to Miami, and right now Miami's 3.5-point favorites. I think the Jags finally get their first win. If Tua comes back, that could change things, but they've got a lot of injuries with their receivers too, so it kind of depends on that. But I like the Jags in this game. They've been in some games they don't fucking have business being in, so I think they should be able to take care of the Dolphins. And I think a couple of them you guys probably have, so I don't need to double dip. But the big one for me this week, I think the big upset of the week is Washington football team over the Chiefs. Chiefs are favored by 6.5. They're riddled with injuries. Their defense can't stop a high school football team. I think the Washington football team upsets them. I think it might be like a kind of final drive, kick a field goal to win type of a game. But yeah, I mean, Washington's defense isn't much better, right? They're playing terrible this year, but it'll end up being like a 37-34 game. But I'm picking the football team to win there. And thinking about Stone Cold locks, I think the biggest lock for me, it's going to be the Bills. I think the Bills beat the shit out of the Titans. It'll be interesting to see how their run defense does against King Henry, but they're just too good, and the defense is too good. And I guess the other one that I want to, I guess I'd take it. I think the Steelers definitely beat the Seahawks as well. That'll be the other one I call out. Like
by 5.5.
yeah, I think they probably beat him by a touchdown or 10. Even with Russell Wilson, like they were barely eking out games and they weren't playing that well. So with your boy, I don't think they can do it. I don't think they can hang.
Well, just like I was telling you off air, though, I was like, it also shows how far Pittsburgh has fallen down too. Because even a couple years ago, if this same game happened, let's say it's the same Seahawks game, as in the same Seahawks team that's going on right now, without a Russell, this spread would be like double digits easy.
Yeah.
10, 14 points. That's how far the Steelers have fallen off too. They have
100%.
Geno Smith leading them, and they have a shitty ass defense themselves. Their offensive line isn't that sexy, and you're going against Pittsburgh's defense, which is supposed to be good. I think we've had some defenses this year that were supposed to be good, and that hasn't happened.
Yeah, lots of defenses.
But it just shows that how far the Steelers have fallen down too. In my opinion, I mean, it should be down. That if it was the exact same thing just a couple years ago, that would be like a 14-point spread. Yeah, I really believe that.
Yep.
All right, Rio, what do you got, man?
All right.
Dun, 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 dun.
I'm there with you on the underdog pick. I think Washington pulls this out.
Let's go.
I think, pressure's on. Cowboys 2 games ahead in the division. Pressure's really on to get a win and get back in. I think that defense turns it around this week, or at least that front 7 turns it around, because the O-line for the Chiefs have been kind of underperforming. So I think maybe this is a week their D-line gets back on track, and those first-rounders start playing like the former first-rounders they were.
And then Andy Reid gets fired then?
Yeah, and then Patrick Mahomes tears an ACL.
Oh, Jesus.
He said it out loud.
I just think Washington gets it done this week. I think close game, possibly, last drive of the game and whatnot. So here are my picks. Give me Dallas, 3.5-point favorites over the Patriots. At first I was feeling like maybe a trap game, but just what I've seen from the Patriots and Mac Jones, I love him. I think he's a nice player, a nice quarterback, will be a good quarterback in the NFL. I just think he's too much of a game manager, check down kind of guy at the moment. The Patriots defense isn't what it used to be, so I think Dallas kind of runs all over them. It's going to be 14+, I think, over the Patriots. The Rams, 9.5 favorites over the Giants. I think that could be a lot more than that. Giants are hurting, everybody's
everywhere. Yeah,
everyone's banged up. You don't know if Daniel Jones is going to start. You, as a high school football team, you don't want to have to say, "Hey, Mike Glennon's starting tonight." Thank God. So,
right, Giants football team injury report looking like Jimmer's fantasy football team injury report right now.
Not good.
Actually, you have one of the receivers too,
I do have one of the receivers.
Oh,
yeah, he got me a 0 because he got banged up in that game too. Yep. Oh, I know.
So, I think this 9.5, I think it's going to be – I think the Rams are going to just run away with that game too. So, a little different one. It's to give me the under on the 43.5 on the Colts and Texans game. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. Texans not that great. Offense not that great. Colts can definitely underperform. Plus a division game. I think this could be real defensive, a defensive game.
Kind of punching each other in the mouth.
Yeah, just kind of field position. And so I'm taking the under on that 43.5.
You think the Texans could win?
No, I think the Colts still pull this out. But
like 20-10 or something.
Yeah, something like that. 17-10.
I don't know. The Colts just showed that no lead is absolutely safe with anybody, especially Lamar back there, just dicing you up in the air.
Yeah, but David Mills is not Lamar Jackson,
right?
So
David Mills threw for over 300 against.
He has been actually playing not bad.
His neck can go 20 yards itself.
I think the Colts defense may be a little bit better than the Patriots, that's what I'm taking this weekend.
Jimmer, what kind of dumb shit do you have to say?
Well, everything I say
Your fantasy
is
team is good.
smart.
Yeah, we got it.
Yeah. Oh, it is good if they're healthy. You guys haven't seen a healthy Jimmer's team since week 1. I'm gonna go ahead and kick this off with my upset picks. I had the Cardinals plus 3.5 at the Browns.
And Cardinals are
Mm-hmm.
The favorites?
Yeah. No. Cardinals are getting 3.5 at the Browns.
Oh.
So taking the Cardinals over the Browns. I'm gonna stay with the hot hand here. I have the Chargers plus 2.5 at the Ravens.
Wait, I thought you said you were doing your upset picks.
I am. These are the upset. Go to FanDuel.
Oh, really?
These
the Browns
are
are
the-
favored?
No, they're not favored. Oh yeah, the Browns are favored. Yes.
Okay.
You're like throwing me off right now.
I
I'm
didn't
reading
think
you
they were.
the point spread. I'm putting it
Okay.
on there. Cardinals plus 3.5. They're getting 3.5 points against the Browns.
Okay.
The Chargers are getting 2.5 points at the Ravens. So yes, I thought it was a little backwards. So
I thought
that's
it was
the reason I feel a
backwards,
little
too. That's why I was like, what?
Yeah, no. You want to go on the next one and ask me if it is too?
Yeah.
Jesus.
Sorry, I thought we were just
Yeah.
getting misinformed here.
No, never. Not from this side.
I do like the Chargers too.
I'm riding the hot hand. And when I say the hot hand on here, obviously I'm saying that with like, God, Lamar Jackson did nothing safe.
49 fantasy points. I mean, I was already going to blow Luke out anyways, but 49 fantasy points last week for me.
Yeah.
We were talking about that Monday. I was listening to Fantasy Footballers, and they had people write in saying I was up 90 points before the Monday night game. They had Lamar and Mark Andrews. I woke up the
yeah.
next day and lost by 0.5.
Oh, my
Ooh.
goodness.
Ooh.
That is tough.
I would probably quit. I might be done at that point.
I would not, because I would expect that to happen to me.
No shit.
My other upset pick, or last upset pick, is Packers at Bears. Bears getting 5.5. And now I don't think the Bears are going to win this game. That isn't what I'm saying in this one. I'm just saying that the Bears are going to cover 5.5. My Stone Cold locks are kind of. Oh, we're on the same board with at least one for sure. I had the Bills covering that 5.5 all day at the Titans. Yeah, and King Henry is the
100%.
man, but it just isn't enough. The Bills are playing on a different level. They are showing that
My
they
boy
are
Julio should make a reappearance, they say.
Yeah.
Fully practice.
yeah, for the first quarter or something. This hammy will tighten up or
Yeah. Always happens.
yeah. I had the Raiders at Broncos. Broncos minus 3.5 to cover that. I think that'll be all day. And I'm not trying to take a shot at the Raiders. Are already getting kicked down enough as it is. I like Derek Carr. I like how that offense is rolling and everything. But I just think, especially this week, there's going to be so much going on. And they've been fielding so many non-football questions and
Oh, yeah.
so many other things
A
going on.
lot of distractions.
Yep, and you're going up to the Mile High.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the Broncos are going to get that 3.5, pretty comfortably. Actually, I think it's going to be at least a touchdown.
Okay.
And then I have which is going on right now. I have the Bucks minus 6.5 at the Eagles. The Stone Cold lock, and I think that's looking good so far. Last time I looked.
14-7.
14-7.
Tampa Bay's driving.
And that is it for my Stone Cold locks.
Stone Cold Locks, baby.
Stone Cold.
All right.
Locks.
So Rio missed out on a pretty important question that we talked about on Monday, Jimmer. Go ahead and give him a recap. I want to hear what he has to say.
So you're the Browns.
Okay.
And at the end of this year, it is make or break. It is you are either going to pay Baker Mayfield or you're not going to pay Baker Mayfield. What do you do if you were the GM? If it was actually your team, what are you doing there? Like, think about this for a second. Also, the revolving door of quarterback. They were the butt end of a joke. Do you go back into that?
So it'd be easier to say yes, and you play the draft if you were, kind of a bad team heading towards the top of the draft. But the Browns are where they're just good enough to be like in that 20 range back, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they're not going to get a top pick. Or
No.
if you're trying to jump up to grab a guy,
That's the other part of the thing.
you're
Yep.
shelling out lots of stuff,
Yep.
right? Draft picks and stuff like that, players, whatever. So, yes, I think absolutely you have to pay him. Now, you don't give him max like Patrick Mahomes long-term deal or a Dak kind of deal. I think you do what the Cowboys tried to do with Dak at first. Go a short deal, be like, hey, we need to really see a lot more from you, right?
Right.
Because we're running offense, right? They got two stud backs, Kareem Hunt, Nick Chubb, right? They can hand him off. They can do lots of damage to him, right? The Odell Beckham thing hasn't really worked. He's kind of I hate to say it, but a game manager, really. he's a little bit better version of a game manager because he turns around, he hands the ball off, and he makes the short passes, right? You don't count on Baker Mayfield to throw 500 yards and 6 touchdowns to win you a ball game, right? So I think you pay, but in a small scale. Because, I mean, you're staring at $40 million.
Dude, so you're answering this as in that's what you would do.
Yes. You pay him.
Right.
You try to pay him $18 million a year or something like that for like 2 years and a team option.
But would Baker do that? Because
I
that
don't
is not the going rate.
No, absolutely not.
He knows that too. A starting quarterback is making
right, and he's going to have
more than that.
He's going to, and unfortunately, that's what you push for, I think, as the Browns. But yes, Baker's going to have all this leverage. I'm starting quarterback. I've done this and that, yada yada.
Yep, and there's not quarterbacks out there just on a
right that you can get. So he knows, he's going to have all the power ultimately, and the Browns are going to unfortunately have to kind of play ball in his court. Me personally, I'd try to keep it on a short deal. Maybe incentivize it a lot. Maybe to drive that price up.
There you go.
Here's
and see if you can
5,000.
see if you can get the best out of them.
Right. Here's 4,500 yards. You get another whatever, $5 million. Whatever it is, and just kind of see because he's got to take that jump.
Here's $2 million if you involve Odell Beckham Jr. in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah. No kidding. So yeah, I think he's got to show that. Hey, when it comes down to it and I can't hand the ball off, like the Chiefs game would have been perfect. I drive this team down and I win the game. Doesn't. He makes a horrible pass for an interception instead of just throwing it away.
He could have clearly murdered the Vikings. He missed on so many where he could have easily put this game away. The Vikings should have been in that game at the end.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
And he just doesn't have that.
He doesn't.
He misses it when it's time. And I agree with you. I think he misses it when it's time. We need this from you. This is what we're paying you for.
Yeah.
This is why you're the number 1 overall pick. This is why we're trying to put you on as
right.
our franchise guy.
And it's become a passing league. So impressive that the Browns can do what they've been doing and kind of stick to that run game, right? But ultimately, it has become and is trending in that direction of a straight passing league, right? And he's not a guy where I go, okay, I can count on him to, throw me 5 touchdowns a game if I need it and to win me that ball game. I don't know if he could do that for the Browns.
Yeah, I mean, he even had his best passing, probably career day, right, against the Chargers, 300 yards. But it didn't. If you watched the game, it didn't look that good.
No.
Like, okay, somehow he came up with 300 yards, but
No, not somehow. David Njoku gave him 71 of them off of a truck stick and a run.
Right.
So that's the reason why it was even up there as it was. So I don't know. I'm not sold on Baker either. I wasn't when he was coming out, and there's nothing to do with size or anything like that. I was just like, you had a magical year with Oklahoma. There's a difference between a college quarterback and being this, the swinging dick on campus and being.
I think that's where we get lost on quarterbacks, right? NFL quarterback way overvalued. You see people going when they're not supposed to.
Instead of building your program and building the scheme.
Right, and I think, they jump all over that and the schematics and this and that. But what we fail to think about is, like, some of these teams like Oklahoma, they're loaded with talent, right? But when you get to the NFL, for the most part, everyone is fast, everyone is good, everyone's pretty decent. You don't have a college where you can play Georgia. Let's say Georgia, where the talent level is going to be here, and you can have Vanderbilt where the talent is going to be down here, right? So
even Urban Meyer had to find out the hard way.
Exactly.
He said it himself.
Exactly. It's like
He's like,
we're in Alabama every damn week.
Right. This is what happens, brother.
Yeah.
So no, and I agree with you. I laugh because I like to think so too. I like to think so that the prime Alabama teams, for instance, the top end ones that were like legitimate, God, you can't score against them and they can drop 50, right? That they could substitute the bottom tier NFL team, the number 32 team.
Oh yeah.
They can't. I'm sorry to tell you, they can't, because these are men, world class athletes, not 4 and 5 star recruits that are still learning to play the game. These guys literally get paid. Lifting, training, all that. At the end of the day, the Houston Texans are going to roll up the best college football team in the nation. That's just the way it is, or whoever the number 32 team's going to be.
Yep.
Yeah.
Not to mention personal pride at that point. We're not losing to a bunch of college kids.
Yeah, it never fails. That question gets brought up on social media every year.
Yeah.
They're like, well, how would they do against Alabama? They'd fucking beat them by 50 is what would happen. Like,
It would. It's not the same. It's not the same. Their schemes. They know how to play. Their corners have been playing a hell of a lot longer. You're not going to be able to pass against. It don't matter.
Right.
It don't matter if they look like they look like shit against other top tier NFL teams. That's what happens. So.
Yep. Absolutely.
Boom. Well,
pretty interesting baseball game we got going on. Top of the
Yeah.
second, 0-0. Decisive game 5. Giants Dodgers. This has been a good series. If you're a baseball fan, a darn good series. I think
The fact that this couldn't
the
have been
World
the
Series winner
NLCS,
comes
though,
out of here.
Right.
Oh yeah, I know.
I agree with you. How could this not have been the NLCS?
know, absolutely.
106 win team, 107 win team.
Yeah.
Yep.
God, this should have been.
I know.
This should have been like literally the series to go to
yeah.
the World Series. The two best teams in the National League are playing each other right now.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah.
In a 5-game series.
In
In
a
a
five-game
five-game series.
In a 5-game series,
Yeah.
and they're
Right.
already division rivals. They've already played,
And they're
30 times this year, whatever.
Yeah,
it is.
we talked about that, right? They're so evenly matched.
Yeah.
They were almost 500 against each other with basically the same runs scored and everything
yeah.
throughout all the games they played.
And it's coming down to Game 5, just as tight as they played each other.
Yeah,
And this should be a Game 7 series. That's what yeah.
totally agree.
And I agree with you. I think the World Series participant is coming out of this game regardless.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely.
So it doesn't matter which one does. I'm pulling for the Dodgers. Dodgers are my NL team in general, but this is gonna be a tight ass game, and no matter who wins this, I think is going to end up being.
Yeah.
Hey, Braves, nice story and everything.
who
are waiting, but
I think the Dodgers are better suited in a 7-game series. So I think the Giants, if they move on, they're going to have a little tougher time because their starters and stuff, they aren't as deep there. So I think they may have a little bit more trouble in a 7-game series. Now, can their offense supplement that? Maybe keep it in there, maybe.
Yeah.
But I feel the Dodgers are just much better suited for that 7-game series. So definitely, I feel like we said, whoever makes it out goes to the World Series. I am interested if the Giants do win tonight, how they do in that next round when it turns to 7 games.
Yeah,
Just because of where their pitching staff stands.
yeah, that's a good point too.
What's the score? Is this NFL game kind of started off hot,
Still
14-7.
Okay.
14-7.
So we're starting to keep track of them a little bit better now. We're not gonna. I don't think we should hold you up to it quite yet, because it doesn't seem like you're 100%. But you do owe a couple whiskey wagers, my friend.
A couple? Which ones?
Yeah.
Well, I said I told Danny I couldn't do one yet.
No,
but,
I know you can't yet, but just trying to keep it fresh in your mind.
Which ones do I owe?
Yeah.
I know. Oh, the one for sure.
There's 2, I thought.
Yeah, there was a
We each
college
had
game.
one.
Yeah, there was a college game that you bet Jimmer on, and then
oh.
there was that Bengals Bears game was the other one. We both lost that one.
Yeah. You guys tag teamed one. and
Oh,
lost.
we did. Didn't we tag team? 'em?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
And then there was another one where you got.
Did you already take the one for Oregon being in the college playoff?
And that's
No,
what I
'cause
asked him.
it's
He's
still not
waiting.
done.
He's waiting. Alabama gave him hopes.
So I had the Eagles cover that -6 versus Niners. So that's the one I owe. And
Oh, maybe that was it. I thought it was
That
a
was-
college one.
no,
Okay.
that was the only one I owe. And then we have the Giants get 9 wins.
Yeah.
Oh wait,
No.
no, that's you and him.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
me and you had another one too.
Yeah,
You
we
guys-
had the Bengals and Bears. You and I
Yes.
said the Bears were going to either
Oh.
cover or win,
Okay,
right? Or was it the
So
other
that's
one?
my-
Whatever.
that's my second one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, and then the other one was my Eagles to cover that -6. What'd they do? 9. I was like, are you
7.
kidding me?
Actually, it was
Or
7.
Oh
Yeah.
God,
Yep.
even worse. Yeah. So, they're on the Philly 13.
Here we go.
Buccaneers are. So,
That's prime time for Mike Evans right there.
no,
Let's go.
Fournette running in, baby.
So what'd you do for like 9, 10, 12 weeks that you've been not at work?
So, yeah, no kidding. So, the first 6 weeks were okay, right? It was baby leave. It had
the first 6 weeks are okay.
right. We had a baby, and
Yep.
so we were busy handling that at home and stuff. Going through the process buying a house, so kind of doing that. So that was nice having that time off. But then the disaster struck.
Disaster struck.
I caught COVID, and my COVID story, it wasn't that bad. I had some backaches and whatnot, but it felt like the flu. But I went in and took the test, and they're like, oh, yeah, you had COVID, so you got 10 days, right? So I take my 10 days while I'm still kind of coughing up some stuff, and so work's like, I'll stay away for a couple more days. And it goes 2 extra days. Then I catch pneumonia at the tail end of COVID, I guess, when pneumonia can strike because your body's just kind of worn down and whatnot. And that pneumonia has really kicked my ass, just breathing-wise, like trying to go upstairs and stuff like that. Like I just get all kinds of winded just kind of doing anything. Like I said, I showed up to work one night, and I went up a ladder, come down, and like threw up just because I think I was just so out of breath.
Exactly how the Longhorns defense looked against the Sooners.
Kind of like how your fantasy team looks right now, out of breath.
That's fine. I was waiting for you to say something silly about them Hawkeyes, but
no, man, Hawkeyes looking good.
the defense.
The defense
is looking ridiculous.
I'm wondering if eventually that offense not being able to continually move the ball will eventually bite them in the butt.
I'm sure it will. I'm hoping that they're growing a little bit, but then I said that, and then they go and play Penn State, who is like the second best defense in the Big Ten.
Mm-hmm.
And then all that growth went out the door until like a huge play that ended up happening. But
yeah,
I'm like, that is going to be the short of them for sure.
Right. That offense could be consistent, man.
We have the answer. He's on the bench.
Yeah, it's not Goodson, right? The special running back. Let's talk about that.
He is. That offensive line has been banged up.
Here.
We're on our second.
If he was
and third
special,
string
like
guys
you
that are
said,
so
he
good.
would still be.
He still
producing.
does. He still puts up like 150 all-purpose and gets a touchdown a week. What are you talking about?
He is not special.
Hold on. Do you remember? I guess I can't put this necessarily to you, but when everyone's like sitting there defending Mahomes because he's on like his fifth string tackles, we're on to our second and third string.
He's a special player. He'll make plays. And
he is.
Go crazy, but he's not leading the Big Ten. He's not even close to leading the Big Ten in rushing.
He doesn't have to. You can't. So this is the other part of that conversation. I think
I was a running team.
No. I brought this up. This is what happens. There's so minimal yards for them to be had because they keep starting their offense on the other team's side of the field. 30 yards and in. We keep getting picking people off, and we're inside 30 yards. There's 30 yards to be had.
I'll give you that.
There's 30 yards. And if they can't move the ball for those 3 plays because it's run, the predictable Kirk Ferentz shit, and then we kick a field goal.
Yep.
So there's minimal yards to be had.
I think he's just a normal Big Ten back.
No, stop it.
Normal
Corey Taylor punting is winning.
Torrey Taylor.
I heard he's a baller.
Torrey Taylor,
Yeah, I heard your punter is actually pretty good.
3 inside the 5, baby.
Yeah.
Against Penn State.
2 inside, like at the 1 or in.
Dang, that's crazy.
So
for Heisman, baby. Let's go.
Get out of here. Punter? I hope you're talking about the punter. You're not talking about Goodson.
Yeah, let's both.
Talking about the punter.
No.
Don't worry.
What?
Actually, it would be the first time in college football history that the Heisman is announced on an entire defense.
Ooh. Well played. I like it.
Who's that, George's?
Ooh, you son of a bitch. You're not wrong, though.
That
kind of hurt a little bit.
Solid,
But
They are solid.
They're not picking off like we are. We just kind of steal whatever we want when it comes in the air.
Y'all have been balling out.
So we are getting there. We are there. It's been a while. Chris, where you at for our last segment?
Our last segment. Makes sense if you don't think about it. All right. I had to think about this one a little bit. It's been, I've been out for a couple episodes, right? So I do have one, though. So as I work, we kind of work in a factory setting. And work in a factory setting, and these things called reactors, right? And there's 2 reactors way down on one end of the plant. There's 2 reactors up at the other end of the plant. But normally just they work on one if the guy is working on it, right? On reactor 2. So I go up to reactor 2 because I need some called ferrous chloride from up there where R2 is. And I put this reactor in manual, meaning it can't do anything unless you physically touch it or send a button anywhere. And I tell the guy, this operator on R2 who's operating it, I said, hey, you're not doing anything. You don't have nothing going on. I need this ferrous chloride, and I'm going to pump it down. Do not touch the reactor. Do not do anything, and I will come let you know when you can put it back in auto. And, in auto, it just kind of does this thing, whatever. And I go,
it took me a second.
don't touch it.
I got
Don't do absolutely nothing. Do nothing. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200, right?
Right.
And he's shaking his head. Absolutely. You got it. Sir, yes, sir. Right? And I'm like, okay. So I walk all the way to the other end of the plant. I start up pumps, and I'm starting to get the liquid I need, a ferrous chloride down, and all of a sudden it shuts off, and I go, what the fuck? So on the screens, we can pull up the other reactors and what they're doing. And I pull up R2. And what has that motherfucker done? He has put it in auto, which literally like 4 minutes ago, we had talked about not putting it in auto and just leaving it in manual. And, he's shaking his head. I hear you. So I go up there and I go, hey, man, what the fuck? And what? He's like, what? What happened? And I'm like, what do you mean what happened? And he tells me, no, I didn't put that in auto. I'm like, well, it fucking doesn't do it by itself. He's like, yeah, no, I didn't touch it. And I'm like, were you standing here? He's like, yeah. And I'm like, and it just went by itself. He's like, must have. I don't know. I didn't touch it. Makes sense if you don't think about it, right?
Makes
sense if you don't think
about
it.
Man.
You were the only one standing right here. Yep. So it put itself in auto.
Yeah. Hey, never has done it before.
Right.
Never has done it before, since then, before then. But
that
he
one
didn't touch
particular moment, he didn't touch it.
He
He was
didn't
the only
touch
one
it.
standing there.
That definitely makes sense. Jesus.
So good times.
Oh,
No
man.
shit. Well, it's wrap-up time. Any last thoughts before we close her out, boys?
Swarm, baby. Keep our...
Let's go.
Hook 'em horns, let me down 1 week at a time. Kind of like Jimmer's fantasy team, right?
They're not letting me down. The players are injured. I'll be coming back when they come back.
Yeah, storm back for
That
that
being
toilet
said,
bowl.
shit.
No,
I can't do
that's
that.
Luke's.
That's Luke 0-5, bro.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
He is horrible.
No,
ESPN draft is
but he has.
fucking-
ESPN
I was gonna
drafted.
say he gets to fall back on this ESPN draft.
Yep. Just typicals. Follow us on all the socials.
Yeah, give us a shout out. Let us know what you think.
We like the banter that's been going on. We do appreciate it.
Facebook, Twitter, YouTube.
3 Gig Sports Podcast.
Let us know.
On Spotify and anywhere you listen to them at.
That's the truth.
Get on there.
Let's go.
And stop using. Don't be such a cheap ass. By the way, use your goddamn like. So what I'm getting at is where we get the love is not using the same Wi-Fi as everybody else. For the love of God, can you just go on for a second on your thing and come on?
Hey,
I appreciate
guys.
it. All joking.
It was good to be back. Glad to be back. I know I missed some. So now y'all can be actually informed by somebody of intelligence.
No, we needed a little bit of dumb around so that.
Well, that's what you had Danny for, right?
We just
okay.
we just needed a pretty face. That's all.
Oh
we
yeah.
needed.
Oh, that's definitely me.
You didn't have to say a damn thing.
Gotta get
Fucked
that
everything
camera
up.
going.
No, I
so.
appreciate it. We needed him back. Felt good. It's a lot easier to do a 3-man swing. So
That's the truth.
glad to see you're coming back healthy. And you're undefeated against COVID.
Undefeated, baby. What's up?
1-0.
Want to know?
Wanna
Now
know.
pneumonia's still kicking my ass. I don't know. That's kind of in the 500. range.
Pneumonia's in the 500 range.
That's tough. All right, guys. Well, thanks for listening. This is 3 Gig Sports.
Yeah.
We out.